Is up, soul family? We got a lot going on. We got a lot to talk about. So, as you probably know, we are in a very intense eclipse portal. And when I was talking about the eclipse the other day, I was telling you guys how the eclipse, what an eclipse does is it can also shine a light on collective darkness, collective wounds, collective traumas. That's exactly what we're seeing. This Charlie Kirk assassination does not surprise me at all. Okay? Not at all. Because the eclipse is going to serve as a collective mirror to witness what it brings up inside of you. So we are going to connect to his spirit, right? Because if you've been following me for a while, I like going into the higher realms. Okay, I don't deal with lower dimensional hate, lower dimensional division, lower dimensional distortion, because that's all chaos. That's matrix chaos. You don't want to fuel the matrix chaos. You want to use your thoughts, your beliefs, your energy, your intention. If you truly are working within for the light, you want to use your power to energetically fuel the timeline that you want to be on. Okay? So, what's arising within you? As so many events around the world begin to boil to the surface. Are you angry? Okay? That's showing you where you have not fully transmuted ancestral trauma, oftentimes. Or pain in your own life. Or where you still feel like a victim. So larger themes and stories impact you personally, right? When things happen at this point in my journey, they don't create the same emotional reaction that they did 10 and 15 years ago. Because I'm going into the higher perspective. What is this about? What is the collective working through? Let me know in the comments what the Charlie Kirk assassination. There's some other governments that have been collapsing. So many things. We know what's happening in Palestine. What are you feeling? And understand that these events are just mirrors to reflect back what you are asking to reconcile within your own vessel. I'm sad. There's some sadness, someone says. Yes, what's happening in Nepal. So many things. I feel so many things. I feel a huge shift. I trust the process and I trust in love and light. I feel the spirit wanting to come in. Someone said, I never paid attention to him. God bless his spirit and his family. Let me I want to do a disclaimer before I go into this, because I know just like politics and religion are deeply polarizing and triggering for people on this planet. This has nothing to do with my personal political views, religious views. I am a neutral observer in the game of life. None of that stuff means anything to me. Okay? Let's just get that clear. Especially as a Black woman, I know oftentimes people expect me to have a certain opinion or a certain agreement to something. That's not what's happening here. I keep telling you guys this eclipse is not gentle. So there's a lot of real raw, that's what it's about, bringing it all to the surface. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. Let's bring them in. Let's bring them in. High vibrational spirits or high vibrational angels, please connect me to the purest essence of that which was Charlie Kirk. First thing the soul is saying is, I'm happy. He's just saying he's happy. I'm happy because I now have the full picture. I'm happy because I actually did accomplish what I set forth to do. And what he set forth to do is to stir the pot and to create conversation and to inspire debate and to inspire freedom of thought and to create a space where people began saying things that maybe they were afraid to say publicly. Now, he is talking about his ignorance in some regards. I don't know much about the guy. I did check out a few of his videos last night because it was just so strong in the collective field. There was some of it that I agreed with and I kind of understood what he was going for, and then there was a lot of it that I felt was tone deaf and there is some miseducation. So now that the soul has the higher dimensional perspective, he's saying, I see both sides. I see the full picture now. But he is talking about the purity of his intention. He's talking about the purity of his intention. I recognized that something was wrong. I needed to create an opportunity for conversation, even if there's disagreement. I needed to create an opportunity even for critical thought he's talking about. Like when I was watching some of the clips of these debates and some of his argument. And he's saying again, a lot of it was ignorant for me to be tone deaf and not address the whole picture on certain subjects. And that was me and my human. However, the purity of the intention was for the voice of the people to be activated. Now, again, like I said in the beginning, this has nothing to do with my own personal political beliefs. I don't tune into the human political system. But when you are born into a family, into a culture, into a religion, into a certain community, it comes with certain ideology. And most people who would die for their political beliefs, they only think that way because they're still operating on the same programs that they were born into, meaning what was taught in their household. Diehard Republicans, diehard Democrats. And what you actually witnessed with his presence and the movement that he created is you saw a lot of people switch sides who typically, right, they wouldn't challenge or question the status quo. And I have to attest to this, especially as a Black person. One of the things as a true indigo starseed, what would piss me off more than anything is as a Black woman, people would expect you're this religion, you're within this political group, like you can't think for yourself, don't even question it. This is just who you probably are. And grouping people into a certain belief system, right? I think it was Joe Biden that says, are you even Black if you don't vote Democrat? That's ignorant. You did witness a lot of people switch or start entertaining other political views that maybe they wouldn't have. Now, whether you agree with the side or not, he's talking about the soul contract, right? The soul contract. What it was creating movement in a political sphere that had been the same almost since the fucking Constitution was written. That's crazy. That's crazy when we think about how long certain beliefs in devotion and dedication to certain sides. It's like every generation is going to have souls who incarnate to evolve the way we're living on earth, and that was just a part of his That was his soul contract, was to evolve the political sphere. Now, what I'm hearing in the collective thought field right now is some of you are going, well, but so much of what he said was ignorant or misinformed. Again, go back to everything is a mirror. If you're triggered, it's because you're not yet operating in the ascended master template that says, I recognize where that person is in his consciousness. Like when I was going through all his debates and all of that, as a black woman, I wasn't triggered. I was like, oh, I kind of see from the human logic where he's going with some of this stuff. And then I see where his human self is misinformed and lacking empathy and compassion and understanding. It's easy to spew out statistics and say, Black people are killing each other and these types of things. Okay, well, why? So if you are the light worker that you claim to be, if you are walking the ascension path that you claim to be walking, it's going to require the level of neutrality and universal compassion to recognize where a being is in their journey, but not take it personally. There's nobody else on this planet that can make me feel inferior. There's nobody else on this planet that can make me feel like I don't have access to anything they have access to, because I transcended that matrix illusion. So a lot of the separation and the anger that I'm witnessing, what it's really revealing to the self is that you still are operating in the matrix. Because if you weren't, you would just see where people are in their journey, within their consciousness, their level of awareness, and you wouldn't take it personally and assign it to your own value. So this is what it boils down to. Do you believe that you are the creator of your own reality? When you know that you are the creator of your own reality, this person can say this, that person can say that. But at the end of the day, you don't feel like a victim of whatever they're doing, whatever they're projecting, whatever they're emitting. Now, why are people angry? For the folks who are like, feel like they are on the opposing side of some of his philosophy. Oh, this is good. He's saying, I was playing the role of someone you needed to trigger your deepest insecurities about yourself, your value, your power, and ultimately your ability to create reality. Okay, there's a reason why he chose this assassination as the exit, his exit. We all get different exit points. I chose this premature exit knowing that it would create the most conversation. It would create the ripple effect needed in particularly the American collective to wake people up. What does it invoke within you? If I said things that you experienced as ignorant and it really got to you, I did my job. That's why when the soul came in, it was just like, I'm happy. I did my job. We can say the same is true about Trump, another polarizing figure. Okay, if he bothers you, that's great. He's doing his job. If you're able to recognize the level of consciousness he's in, that's great. He's also helping you do your job. These are all opportunities to peer beyond the veil. What do you really believe is going on here? It's fun to believe in manifestation when we're manifesting money and parking spots and clients and jobs. Okay, but the real quantum manifestation happens when we truly know and believe that we can create collective timeline jumps, and that all of these figures and these people, all of these puppets on the world stage, it really doesn't mean anything if we stopped believing in it. So, the soul showed up to play its role, to trigger something within you. And whatever is being revealed within you, you get an opportunity to heal it, to amplify it, to transcend it. Whatever needs to take place, you can do that right now. You see how freeing it is when you don't feel like a victim to whatever's happening and you actually use it to your benefit? Every single thing happening in the world right now, you can use it to your benefit. You know how I like to use things to my benefit? I like to look at the darkness, the ignorance, and the evil, and I gotta go fucking harder. This is like my 3rd video this week. I gotta come back. That's how I like to use it. By speaking more truth. Allowing it to activate the fire of my soul to keep showing up and doing this work. How are you using these events? Do not allow your energy to be harnessed. I'm so angry. Like my brother Danny Morrell posted something that I thought was beautiful yesterday about how the darkness likes to create division. And I just left some fire emojis without reading super deep into it. I was just like, I love that. What a unifying message. And then someone responded to me talking about, well, how dare he speak about this, but he hasn't spoken about other things. Are you kidding me? Like that's how you're gonna use this moment, is to try to control and dictate how somebody wants to shed light on something that's happening in our country for my folks who are in the United States. That's how you want to use this moment? To create more selective outrage? How about, wow, how thoughtful that people have an opinion about what's going on in our country, whether I agree with it or not. The darkness has one agenda: to keep you fueling energetically and emotionally the timelines that you claim you no longer want to be on. And you know how you do it? You do it by being angry, by judging other people, by playing into the separatist ideas. The fact that somebody died because someone didn't like their views is an issue, whether you agreed with their philosophy or not. That is an issue. And if you are truly a light worker, you should be able to recognize that there's something bigger than my side or their side or your side. And, oh, but he said these things. It really doesn't matter. When people lose their life, we should all care. Let me know what this is bringing up for you in the comments. Okay, so Charlie coming back in. He had this very he's telling me this matter-of-fact tone. And he's going, by the way, that whole persona was because in that world, they will eat you alive if you come off as weak. If you come off as weak, you will get eaten alive. So for the role he was here to play, and how he was here to stir the pot and inspire some freedom of thought and free speech, that whole confident bravado, he's like, it was just a part of the ego package that I needed to do my job. But he's coming in and he's like, what are you gonna do now? Don't let the work that I did go to waste, regardless of what side you're on. He's like, the side doesn't matter. In the higher realms, it all leads back to the same place. It's just here that you think you're on a different side. We're all actually on the same side, Source's side, because you are Source itself. You can't be on another side. You can be in a state of forgetting who you are, forgetting that love, oneness, unity is the only real truth, but that's just temporary. That's just temporary. What does this mean for you moving forward? How do you use this collective event and relate to it in a way that it empowers your journey? Just like George Floyd, absolutely. Who chose contractually to play that role to spark a conversation. You see, all this does is just spark conversations and reveals hidden pain. It's eclipse season, baby. The way you feel that you think that you worked through, oh no, if you really haven't worked through it, it's coming up right now. I've seen so many just conversations around racism and around just so many things that this is bringing up, to the surface. A lot of anger is there. A lot of trauma is there. A lot of ancestral pain is there. Still, at what point as a collective do we decide that is our collective past, and while we honor what all of our ancestors have created and co-created, we're choosing something else? Okay, he's showing me there are some new indigo leaders in the political sphere that are going to start emerging. And a part of his job was to pave the way for them. They're not going to be as extremist as him. He only, like in the beginning of these things, right? It takes someone with a little bit of armor to get the attention and to rock the boat. The next set of leaders that come in are coded with unity and compassion and understanding all sides. This is what Source has been calling to me the Omni children. It's like even the next level of Indigos. The Omni children are coming in to truly bridge differences. You see, somebody like Trump and someone like Charlie, even a Candace Owens, they're not really here to bridge the groups. They're just rocking the boat and stirring up the conversation. The Omni children are going to have that type of compassion and consciousness needed to understand all sides. Like what I'm doing right now, I'm addressing every side. A lot of the shit that this man said was ignorant. But a lot of what he said, there was also truth. The ability to hold both truths in your consciousness at the same time without polarizing into dualistic concepts. Okay? Two things can exist at the same time. Someone in their human cannot be fully equipped to be the next MLK or Gandhi or like these types of people when we think about peace. Nonetheless, they're still doing their job in the way that it needed to be done, like a Malcolm X or a Tupac. You see, in the higher dimensions, before you incarnate, you go, okay, what's the avatar? What's the package? What are the beliefs? What's the language? What's the attitude? You suit up and you go in and you do your job. Start asking, what role is that soul playing? As soon as you ask, I promise you, the spirit can show you. And now you're not using your energy to be plugged in the matrix, reacting and responding out of fear, out of anger, out of ancestral trauma wounds, out of victim stories. out of ignorance, out of not truly believing that you're the creator of your own reality. Now you're just sitting back with your coffee or your matcha latte and you're just going, okay, I see what that person's soul is doing. I see what they're 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 great. Love it all. One big cosmic awakening party. You see, I can laugh about it because I'm free from it. It doesn't control my life. If these things that are happening on the world stage are bringing up your deepest wounds, that is great. They're doing exactly what they need to do. I need you to lean in. Source, where am I believing that you are not the ultimate redeemer? Source, where am I still believing that you don't have your hand in all of this? Source, where am I still believing that something that is not love, that is not unity, that is not oneness is winning? Where am I still believing that? That's what the darkness wants you to think. They want you to think that they won and that the world is permanently fucked up. They want you to think that. And then when you think that, because this is the quantum, you shift to the parallel version of reality where you will experience the world in that way. You will experience the false light grid. You go to the store or the grocery store, somebody looks at you negatively. Maybe they even give you a racial slur. The universe just reinforces what you expect. Simultaneously, you go to on a parallel reality and parallel planet version of Earth. You go to the store. You meet somebody of a completely different religious background, political background, but you have the most beautiful conversation and you're just like, oh my God, I love them. They're such a beautiful soul and energy. And you're experiencing the fifth dimensional version of every single person that you interact with because you are no longer a victim. That's how it works in the quantum. What versions of people do you want to experience, regardless of their belief systems? I meet amazing, wonderful people of every religion, every background, every political identity, and I can extract the best from them. And I can co-create on the fifth dimensional wavelength with them and have the time of my life, extracting the best of what their soul has to offer in that moment that our paths have temporarily crossed and intersected. Because I create my own reality. Every day, every second, every moment, I know that. When you don't know that, now I'm upset that this person is saying something that I don't agree with. As opposed to sitting in the higher dimensional perspective of neutrality and just recognizing where they are in their journey. You see the difference? For the people who are on this live right now, this is really for you. Charlie's coming back in and he's like, you're chosen. Not in a egoic hierarchy way, because everybody truly is chosen, because everybody's a part of the same infinite supreme source. But he's like, if you can really grasp what we're talking about here, you're chosen and you have a responsibility to hold this template. Hold this template. Because when you hold this template, you override the programs of the matrix, and they are so encoded in the DNA. It is difficult. It is challenging. It is challenging to override these programs. Everywhere you look, lack is being reinforced. Separation is being reinforced. Classism, racism, sexism, all of it, it's all being reinforced. If you can really grasp this and you can hold this unity field, if you can really hold this centric point of connectivity in your field, you're here to change the world for real. You are here to change the world. Forget what your avatar looks like. I'm in a melanated body. I'm in a white body. I'm in a Middle Eastern body. I'm in an Asian body. Okay, what is the frequency of your DNA? On New Earth, it doesn't matter what your avatar looks like. It's about your vibration. It's about the frequency of your DNA. Every time you choose love and unity and you choose to override the old program, you turn off the programs of what has been activated in the DNA, in the matrix DNA. And you activate your Christ consciousness DNA, which is quantum. Whew. The ability to shift through the quantum is governed by the frequency of your DNA. All those old programs is what keeps you from personally shifting into fulfilling timelines. And all of those people who cannot personally shift, they also don't support a collective shift. You activate your DNA, so then you start time traveling. You can go anywhere you want in the quantum. But now you can also help bridge the collective into the quantum version of Earth that is sovereign, that is harmonious, that is peaceful, that is vibrating in love and unity. The crystalline DNA, the crystalline nervous system, the crystalline light body. And then your Merkaba activates. Whew, that's fun. And then you really can go anywhere in the omniverse. And then you come back to this timeline with codes. What game do you want to play? Me against you? Or it's all just me in different states of awareness? When you recognize that there's no separation between you and me, this person who's of this ethnicity and this person who's of this ethnicity or racial background, or they grew up with money and I didn't grow up with money. All of that is Earth School simulation stuff. If you really came here to be a matrix recoder and programmer, let me know in the comments. Just let me know in the comments. Let me know. You see, you want to be in the game. You're in the game of dimensional consciousness. And at every single level, there's just a different awareness that frees you from the limitations of the last level. If you want to play on the highest level with Source and the universe and the cosmos, really the stuff that I'm talking about is like elementary. Like, I'm seeing the galactics look at us and they're like, they still think they're separate. Okay, got a lot of work to do. And the people that I'm talking to on this call right now, you are the star beings from the future who are waiting to land and come and help, and you left this past self as the human you to anchor the vibration that your future you is going to help fully activate on this planet. The galactic councils are talking to you. You are the star beings. You encoded your frequency in a human avatar temporarily to start priming the matrix to prepare for your arrival to really help and assist. What is the future version of you communicating to you right now? I'm seeing you on starships. Some of you fleet commanders. Some of you omnidimensional ambassadors. Like, your job is to literally go to different planets and star systems and help different beings communicate. You see, if you can't master it on the planetary level, which is there are different groups of people on the same planet, how are you going to master it at the galactic level, where we got entire planets that are trying to now communicate with each other and need to understand the law of one? You are the star beings who have already done this type of emissary work. Being an emissary of light. We're helping you to remember. Okay? Charlie was also a starseed and an indigo. He played his role. Thank him. Empower yourself in whatever way you need to make this current event an activation for you, and continue your work. Continue your work. Okay, there's a lot of freezing on this live because we have some negative influences trying to stop certain messages getting to you. We're just going to seal the field, pushing away all lower vibrations from this conversation for those who are ready to receive it fully in their being and activate their mission. Activate their planetary mission. Those people can't bother you if those spirits, those energies have no power. They can't infiltrate. They can't bother you unless you're still confused about your mission. Okay? And it's not like a force, go away, leave me. It's like, walk yourself out the door. I just collapsed the program. Escort yourself out. I no longer subscribe. I'm hopping off that version of reality. Lots of DNA activation taking place right now. For those who are ready to start activating your crystalline light body. Now, when you activate the crystalline light body, you can hold more information. You can hold more code. So when you are out walking in the world, you're doing grid work wherever you are. You're activating the space. You're anchoring light codes. You're literally shifting the sacred geometrical structure of the matrix, right? Like if we stripped all this down to just raw energy, it's just a bunch of sacred geometry. And the sacred geometry of the matrix, it just looks distorted. Like the energetic pattern is like all crazy. A crystallized matrix, the geometry is harmonized. Like when you look at a snowflake, the crystalline structure of a snowflake, or the crystalline structure of a diamond. The molecules, the quantum particles are vibrating in sequence. There's a harmonious crystallization manifested into form, into matter. If we looked at the energetic nature of the matrix, it doesn't look like that. There's dissonance. So when you activate your crystalline light body and you're holding all these codes, which are just raw packets of information, original cosmic blueprints, it's like you're dropping codes everywhere you go. Matrix, reprogram. Matrix, reorganize yourself. Quantum field, reorganize yourself into the harmonious pattern. It's going to require you collapsing some of the things you have believed to be true about yourself. What are the belief systems that came with your avatar? And by the way, you chose a specific avatar because you have the power to transcend those specific beliefs. So the beliefs I had to collapse as a Black woman, they were very deep. There were lots of slave codes running, right? I'm not worthy of money. I'm not worthy of this. I'll never be able to accomplish that. Oh, I don't have access to that. Source goes, you don't have access to what? You don't have access to what? You can't do what? They said, what about you? They stopped you from doing what? That's an illusion. Collapse it. And when you collapse it, you can clearly see who it's still running in their program. So Charlie's coming back in. He's talking about some of the things, the ignorant things that I spewed because I didn't have a sense of understanding for certain groups, like their experiences. I didn't have the empathy and the compassion to understand their experiences. That was just my matrix programming running. Recognize when there's matrix programming, but from a place of compassionate neutrality. They're not being their true self. They're not being their real self. They're not being their true divine essence of self. They're still operating on a false matrix program that says, I am separate from you and you are separate from me. And it's your fault. Or it's this group's fault. Where we are in this dimension, there's a negative polarity and a positive polarity to almost everything. Get in the habit of asking for clarity about both. High vibrational angels, what is the negative polarity? I'm going to use Charlie as an example. Negative polarity, inability to display and embody compassion. Positive polarity, able to speak the truth about certain things that need to be brought to light. They exist simultaneously. So someone asks, how do I embody neutrality? That's how. Neutrality is the central point where the negative polarity and the positive polarity meet and collide into one. Show me the negative polarity. Interesting. Now, the negative polarity is also what creates the expansion. Without it, without contrast, consciousness can't grow. So then you begin to accept, understand, celebrate the negative polarity. Which, when we're talking about Charlie Kirk, and I go, oh, I could see what he was doing. Oh, he's saying he was literally here to create that type of reaction and response, to get that type of rise out of people, to make them think, to make them question, or to make them speak their truth. You neutralize your vibration. Now, here's what happens when you neutralize yourself, and you can see the negative polarity and the positive polarity. You create a quantum access point into a parallel version of Earth and the collective reality. Because you use it to get clear. Okay? It would be great if we could have leaders that were more integrated. Not just this or just that. The ability to see multiple perspectives and transmit truth also with compassion. Right now we're seeing a lot of people transmit certain truths, but there's this other side that they don't have, so it's not landing. It's not fully, they're just not fully integrated beings. So now that becomes a desire. And the more people that start using this technology in this way, oh, that's my desire to experience a collective reality where we have leaders that are more integrated. Okay, you start priming yourself to shift to that version of reality where that happens. Now imagine millions of people, if they did this, we would experience an instantaneous quantum shift into a different version of Earth where people show up differently. Why do we need leaders at all? Why can't we just exist together on our own? People can't govern themselves. The Arcturians are coming in on this one, and they're just saying most civilizations need some form of leadership. There are different degrees of what that looks like. leadership structure that's positive. It's only negative when the leadership has fallen out of integrity. If humans can't govern themselves, it creates the collective need for governmental structures. You see, the government only reflects the consciousness. The government only reflects the consciousness. There are countries on this planet who their government is vibrating a little bit higher. And their government is vibrating higher because they're a reflection of what that country's collective field. You see, every country is sort of like its own collective matrix, its own collective thought field. And the government reflects whatever's in that collective thought field. They're bringing up Denmark as an example, even Norway. I want to say Norway was voted as like the happiest place or something like that, with the happiest people. Okay, a lot of those people are experiencing a fifth dimensional reality, or they're experiencing more of what a fifth dimensional reality could feel and look like, with the support of government, with supportive healthcare and supportive programs and those types of things. So it's already existing in certain places. Do some research, because the people in those energetic grids are vibrating in a frequency where they can hold the reflection of their government that looks and feels like that and vibrates in that plane. It's just quantum mechanics. Nobody's doing anything to you. You're doing it to yourself. And manifesting the boogeyman or the perpetrator or the oppressor because you haven't collapsed the separation. The victim and the oppressor are a vibrational match, and they always will be. Meaning the oppressor looks for someone to enforce or assert power or dominance over because they truly don't believe that they're powerful. So they got to get it from somewhere else. The victim, they also don't believe that they're powerful. You see, it's like it's different versions of the same frequency, which is why they are a vibrational match. When you are empowered, you attract reflections that nurture that empowerment. When you are a victim, you attract reflections that reinforce your victimization. That's how it must be. Two sides of the same coin, exactly. And when you accept wholly and fully in your heart, no one here is a victim. You're ready to play at the highest level of co-creation with Source. Now, what's arising? Something's coming up. I feel it coming up. I feel it in my stomach, my sacral. Because when we collapse the program, you have to take accountability. So this may be triggering to some people because you've been believing that you're a victim. It's the government fault. It's white people's fault. They colonized everything. It's my parents' faults. It's all these other people's fault. Okay, well, when you're the creator of your reality, you take accountability and you actually collapse those versions of the reflections that you thought were victimizing you. They were actually just your own shadow self in disguise playing into the game and the story that you still needed because you weren't ready to integrate back into Source for various reasons. Let me know how this feels to reclaim your power from the idea that anything or anybody is separate from you or even has power over you. And if it's triggering you, let me know what the trigger is so we can try to shift through it. Because I'm pretty sure somebody needs to hear it. Anger. Feeling some ancestors. Angry. Okay, well, what some ancestors need to understand is there's a such thing as karma. Two things. There's a such thing as karma, and there's a such thing as soul contracts. Now, when we say karma, what are we talking about? Whatever you hate, whatever you judge, whatever you deny as also being a part of source, you return as. That's really what reincarnation is. Until you free yourself from that loop, and then you come back because you want to help other souls in their ascension process. Let me repeat that again. Whatever you hate, whatever you deny, whatever you judge, you will come back as that thing. Specifically for my melanated folks or people who feel like colonization has played a role in their personal failure. A lot of those people incarnated into those situations as their own karma. Okay? That's just how it works. Meaning if someone was a slave or an indentured servant, usually they were on the other side of that and had to come back and experience the very thing that they did, or how they perpetrated someone else. So you see, no one's a victim. I know we thought it was this whole race thing, and we thought it was, the soul knows exactly what it's doing. You see, for the soul, it seeks balance. Exactly. Karma is not negative. Karma is the soul's desire for balance. I created this energetic ripple. Now that ripple must circulate and come back to me, and I have to experience the result of it. Okay? Yeah, the past life stuff gets crazy. The things that I see in people's Akash is wild. Okay? So, are we complete? I feel that we are complete. I feel that the goal was accomplished. And let's do one last thing while we have all of this power and intention together. Let's use this frequency that we've accomplished to shift some energy in the field. I need you to think about a person, a place, a situation. It could be a place, another place in the world. It could be if you're in America, it could be here. But I need you to think about something that you want to send love and compassion to. And imagine this golden energy beaming from your heart, moving in that direction. You can even think about a past event. Because time doesn't exist. Send this energy from your heart now. And when you send this loving vibration, know that you are pushing away the lower vibrational influences that amplify the chaos. You see, the lower vibrational spirits, they attach into someone's field and they just amplify all the anger they're feeling, all the resentment they're feeling, all the pain they're feeling, so that they can't move into a higher vibration and experience some peace. So when you send the positive intention and love and understanding and compassion, you assist with the alchemy. I'm in a bit of a silence because I feel a lot of timelines rearranging and shifting. And so it is uttered, and so it is done. Thank you for using your energy, your focus, and your intention in this way. I will be posting this on my YouTube if you want to catch the replay. Aaron Lyons TV. Peace, fam.